Well, hello everybody. Hope and pray you're doing great today. It's Daryl Rundus. Long time no talk. I'm sure you've heard by now that Donald Trump took the world and America by surprise and won the election 1 week ago today. And you know, it has a lot of people upset and crying. I use this little comic from Ben Garrison here. Did a great job, kind of illustrating what's going on, but. You know, Hillary had her day, and everybody thought she was going to win, and everybody thought President-elect Trump couldn't win. And some people are calling it a miracle and saying that, we're raining on her parade, it's over. And, you know, it's not so shocking or surprising to me that the people who have rejected the liberal, uber elitist type of mentality and all these people who have taken God out of our schools and out of our homes and out of our country and government and so much more, that they were rejected. And they just can't believe it. Of course, they're all upset. In fact, as you well know, there are many people, we just get to this page, who believe that Trump has prophesied as a new Cyrus. And if you don't know who Cyrus was, he was the king, the Persian king, who conquered Babylon, and you can read about it in Isaiah 50 or 45, and came and set the Jews free. Now, I don't believe that prophecy. I don't think that Trump is a modern day Cyrus. But, there's people that are saying that he is, and he's going to come and set the captives free, and he's going to turn this country around and get it back to a God centered, Christ centered country. I hope and pray that is true, but I don't believe it is when I look at scripture. But what should concern us, and is when we see all these people protesting in the streets. That's concerning, right? That's it's kind of hypocritical even for them to say, "Oh, Trump's going to destroy the country." So what do when they lose, fair and square? Is they go out and destroy the country? They light things on fire and blow things up and bust windshields and do graffiti on cop cars and hurt other people and so much more. It's interesting how double-minded, as the Bible puts it, some people can be when on the surface they're saying, "Oh, we got to love everybody. We got to love Trump's hate and so on," and then they go out and exhibit the very things that they say they're against. They're intolerant. They become bigots themselves. They perpetuate hate and anger and indifference and so much more with those that don't agree with them. And while that is concerning, and rightfully so, my bigger concern is this. And let me just start by giving you a good analogy of where I believe we are as a nation and as a country, and why it's so important for Christians to understand and hear this message that I bring to you today. If you were a homeless person and were hungry, right? And somebody brought you a sleeve of Ritz crackers. Well, if you were just hungry, maybe you've eaten earlier that day or the day before, and you were hungry, but you weren't starving. Those Ritz crackers, they'd be good. You might appreciate them. Then again, you might even reject them and say, "Hey, thanks, but I could do better at McDonald's for $1. Give me $1, I'll go get a hamburger." Um, But if you were starving, you hadn't eaten for a long, long time, and somebody handed you a sleeve of Ritz crackers, man, those would be the best crackers you ever ate. I mean, you would eat every last one, wouldn't even drop a crumb. And you'd probably eat some and save them for later and so much more. And you would be so grateful and so appreciative of those crackers. And I feel like that's what's happened in this election. For 8 years, Christians suffered under the policies of Obama and all these liberal stances that he took, whether it was same sex marriage or pro abortion and so much more. And the anti Christian bigotry and, the name calling of bigots and, hypocrites and all these other things that Christians were called drove us to our knees, and it humbled us, and we prayed and we prayed. And I believe that's why God gave us a reprieve. Like I said, some would have called Trump election miraculous, right? And I hope and pray he does a great job. I mean, I pray for all our leaders, as the Bible tells us to. Um, but my concern is simply this: that for 8 years we've been so oppressed and so overlooked and so downtrodden, that as a Christian and as a Christian community at large, we've been starving. And now they hand us Ritz crackers in Donald Trump, who, is already starting to backslide on some of his policies. I don't know if you saw the interview on 60 Minutes, but he said, hey, same-sex marriage, that's law now. The Supreme Court's ruled, so no need to readdress that. Or he's already addressing the immigration issues and the deportation of immigrants who came here illegally and so much more. So while we are resting and rejoicing in what God has given us as a reprieve, and many people touting him as a modern day Cyrus, the conquering king come to save us from the evils of the enemy, I feel like we're that homeless guy who's been starving and just been handed a little bit of Ritz crackers, and we're like, oh man, those are so great. Oh, thank God Trump's got elected. Oh man, I'm so grateful. I'm so glad. Oh man. And I understand because, man, anything's better than the Clinton criminal cartel, right? I mean, WikiLeaks really showed us what she was all about. And of course, we all already suspected this as much, but, it just served to confirm that she was lying and doing a lot of backroom deals and taking money for promises and favors and so much more. I mean, the corruption was just unfathomable. In fact, if I had told you those things about her before WikiLeaks released all those emails, you probably would have never believed it. Getting questions to debates ahead of time and so much more, right? So under that kind of oppression, it drove us to our knees. We were humbled. And God resists the proud. He gives grace to the humble. So I think God very graciously gave us a reprieve in Donald Trump. But Christian, don't let your guard down. And here's why. There are people out there right now, okay, who believe like this lady, Stella Bugbee, and please don't go patronize her site. Don't even visit it. But it's like, don't move to Canada, move to a red state, become a public school teacher, and educate children about racism and sexism and evolution. In other words, let's teach them our doctrine of anti-God, pro-evolution, pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage and LGBT and transgender and all those other things. Okay. The only thing that's changed with Trump getting elected is that a lot of Christians are now letting down their guard. Right? They're no longer humbled. They're exalted. They're rejoicing. They're in fact somewhat being prideful and arrogant in their boasting about how Trump got elected and Hillary lost and so much more. But you see, there's another lady, and I'm not even going to mention her name because she's so entrenched into the LBGT community and indoctrinating the kids, posted this on her Twitter page. This map of almost all blue states resembles what would have been like if only the millennials, the biggest generation in America right now, next to the baby boomers who are dying off fast, if only they voted, this is what the country would look like. So believe me, there are people, it's not coming, it's already here, who are teachers in schools and professors in schools who continually, perpetually have now got a wake-up call and are increasing their efforts to indoctrinate our kids, this next generation, to think in a liberal mindset. And they are angry, hateful, indifferent, and bitter towards anybody who disagrees with them. So, Christian, don't let down your guard. My concern isn't that they're rioting in the streets, it's what it means. When those people don't get their way, they're so intolerant, so indifferent, so angry, so bitter, they take to the streets and start marching against democracy itself, right? And that's just a foreshadowing of things to come. Believe me, when you have school teachers who have bought the lie of evolution and think there is no God, when the Democratic platform is to remove God out of our country, out of their classrooms, out of their lives, out of their homes, out of their businesses, and so much more, we have our work cut out for us. So, Christian, I beg of you, please don't let your guard down. Stay humble. Stay on your knees, stay in prayer. Most importantly, get up and get out after you've prayed. Put action, put feet to your prayers, and take the good news to the people in your community. Start to pray for, minister to, and share the gospel with the people. That is our only hope is Jesus Christ. Our hope is not in some politician. Our hope isn't in some policy, some law, some rules, some regulation. Our hope is in Jesus Christ. And unless we will get up and quit being so satisfied in our own salvation, we start to face our fears and share our faith and engage the culture, the community, and these kids for Christ, it's going to get worse. We might got a minor reprieve in Donald Trump, who on the surface looks like he's going to be at least a moderate compared to Hillary Clinton. But is he going to bring God back to our country? Is he going to help turn the tide? No, it's a spiritual battle. Our battle isn't at flesh and blood. It's against the principalities and wickedness in heavenly realms. Satan is always going to be engaged in killing, stealing, and destroying and doing anything he can to cull Christians. So please don't rest. Take a breath, take a pause if you must. It's been a long year and a tough fought election. But man, I'm telling you, if you won't get up and you won't get out and you won't start taking Christ to the kids, if you won't go proclaim his name on the highways and the byways and scream from the rooftops that Jesus is Lord, repent for the kingdom of heaven is at hand, believe me, sooner, not later, but sooner rather than later, we're going to see this happen. We're going to see this country turn blue. And you'll be blue because, as the word says, hey, when the leaders are righteous, the people rejoice. But when the leaders are corrupt, when they're wicked, the whole nation mourns. And all these kids that are clamoring for this kind of policies and these kind of actions from the political leaders, they'll mourn as well. They may think they want it, but when they get what they want, they're going to realize real fast this is not what we wanted. Okay, so on one hand they talk about equality, but to them that means stealing from the rich and give it to the poor. Don't admire and even join those who are willing to sacrifice and work hard for what they want, and do it in a biblical way. But they want to take. They don't want anybody stealing from them, but they don't have any problem stealing from other people to give to other people. So believe me, if you don't start to realize that this day is coming, here's a good example of the kind of tactics that he will use. This is an ad on Craigslist, okay, looking for a protagonist in a news magazine report for an anti-Trump demonstration. George Soros and other billionaire elitists are paying people to go do these protests. That's the kind of wickedness that they are under, okay? They work for Satan, whether they know it or not. And Satan, once again, is not bound by the same rules we are. He'll lie, cheat, steal, kill, do whatever he must to bring Christianity down, because that's the last thing that's stopping him from ruling the world and creating a one world government with a one world currency and a one world religion where his Antichrist can come and rule and reign. So please keep your guard up, stay prayed up, all right, and keep up the effort to reach people for Jesus. Until next time, this is Daryl Rundis telling you, I thank God for you.